on the Upside Overdrive. Today we're joined by Radio 1 DJ extraordinaire, Bonsoir rapper, TV star, and the nation's favourite and loudest New Zealander. Mr. Zane Lowe, everybody! Woo!
Right, thank you very much. You summed me up there very neatly. Concise.
That's the way we like to do it on the Overdrive.
Yeah.
Zane, thank you for coming on the show.
It's a pleasure.
We're joining you obviously in the Oxford leg of your mixtape tour. How's it been going so far?
Really good. It's been great fun. You know, they get better every year. And, you know, this year it's like probably the most amount of dates we've done, broken up by, we did the Gonzo tour in the middle, so this is kind of the second leg, if you can call it that. But it's been great, you know, having really good crowds, and feels like people are responding to the kind of thing we're doing, you know? So I'm very happy.
Have you had any rowdy audiences?
Yeah, hopefully every night it's kind of like, yeah, right. It's because you guys are very measured and intellectual. I was sort of planning on maybe breaking the set down in the middle and sort of saying, somebody give me the square root of pi. It's been
and you'll get an answer.
Yeah, right.
Very funny.
Yeah. I was actually going to go on the stage last night in Cambridge and go, tell me in Oxford you guys are rubbish. You see like what kind of reaction we get.
They bottle you.
There's like, what? We're going to tell you guys, right? It's the whole Oxford thing. I'm learning every day. You know, the aim is to try and get people as rowdy and involved as possible. You know, it's not a chin-stroking thing. You know, we try and put on as much of a show as a DJ set, you know, and sort of keep it, I'm not to say there's dances and stuff, but it just sort of feels like, you know, hopefully the people will respond and feel like they can get as involved as they really want.
So, how do you go about choosing the songs for the set?
Well, you know, I do a little rehearsal before, and I sort of, you know, work out some transitions and records that I think I'll probably play for the whole tour.
Yeah.
Choose the anthems I want to mix them with the new stuff, and then add as I go, you know, so as songs come along, I'll put them in the set, you know. But I know that there are going to be certain transitions which I'll try and keep to, and the set will vary between 2 and 3 hours, depending on how much time I can get. A night like tonight with Tubbs and Greenpeace playing, two really good DJs, two of my favourite DJs in the world, so I want to hear them play.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'll play for 2 hours, they'll play for an hour each. But then, say, in Newcastle, well, I'll probably play for 3 to 4 hours because it's no stricter curfew.
Yeah.
So it really depends on how long you have, but yeah, I mean, I have certain set pieces because I've got a piece of equipment with me that comes with beats and samples and speeches and stuff. So there's certain things that I know I'm going to do, you know, each night. And so anything that goes on around that can change.
Yeah.
What is the one track that you put on that's guaranteed to get everyone on the dance floor? Do a bit.
There's a few, probably the Prodigy, the remix, Pendulum remix kills it pretty much every night.
Yeah.
Jet, Are You Gonna Be My Girl?
That's that's a good one. Gets me dancing.
You know, I mean, and what I'm trying to do with some of those records, because I've been playing them for a while, because obviously there's certain anthems that you want to play and you feel like the audience want to hear, and then you know we do party setup, not just out there to sort of educate people. That's what we try and do on the radio. You know, when I play out, I want people to have a good time.
Yeah,
that requires some familiarity. So with those kind of records, Nirvana and Arctic Monkeys and things like that, you'll hear it tonight. Hopefully, we try and do things with beats and create loops and make it sound a bit interesting.
Looking forward to it. So, what's the balance going to be like between the new and the old?
Again, it depends, you know. I'd say it used to be a lot more of the anthems, and now it's... I mean, I come out hard most nights with, like... I mean, I consider new to be in the last 6 months, because to a lot of people who come to the gigs, they're still not really that familiar. You can't assume everyone who comes to shows is going to listen to your radio show or know about new music.
Yeah.
So, sometimes they watch Gonzo and aren't that up to play.
Yeah.
So, you know, it depends, but I'd say it's probably 70-30 now, 70 new, 30% old maybe anthems. It kind of, I do it in blocks.
Okay.
I'll do like the first 20 minutes or so will be pretty much new stuff, and then I'll kind of play, you know, like whatever, bit of Jet and stuff like that, and then I'll play some new stuff again, and then I'll have a little older beat set.
Yeah.
And then I'll play my hip-hop set, and then I'll kind of go pretty much new all the way through.
It's really varied.
But it's exciting for me now because I get to play a lot more stuff that feels more contemporary, which is nice.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what we know you for. You kind of Mr. New Music.
Yeah, I know. It's funny, you know?
Yeah, so like, how much input do you have in finding the new music for your Radio 1 show?
Well, it's a team effort for a start. It's me and a bunch of people I work with on the show, me and two girls, Philippa and Rachel, who we work closely. We have music meetings, and we source the music, and we sit down, and we play records, and we decide. So it's not like I don't go out there and source every record. I don't have the time. I've got a lot of other things going on. But, you know, records come my way, records come Philippa's way. Sometimes people, you know, in the industry tell me about stuff. Sometimes guys at Radio 1 go, you know what, we're on this. You'll really work with your audience. And everyone feeds each other, and it does feel like it's all part of a good team, yeah. But, I mean, it all has to go through me. You know, I never go on the radio having not heard a record.
Yeah.
that makes any sense.
Because it's a team effort, would anyone ever make you, not make you, but suggest that you play a song that you don't like, and
No.
would you play that?
No, and that's pretty much the main reason why I wanted to go to Radio 1 in the first place was because, you know, being in that specialist department, they have a history of giving specialist DJs
Yeah.
the privilege, effectively. I was going to say the right, but
Okay.
Yeah, what we're talking about, music and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really ever find myself in a position whereby I'm playing anything I don't believe in, and I think sometimes when people kind of, you know, will accuse you of being overly positive or kiss ass or whatever they say, it's because they don't think it's actually possible to believe in everything that you play, but we're lucky we do, we can. Every now and then you'll play a record that you don't necessarily personally like or wouldn't listen to at home, but that's when you have to put yourself in the shoes of the audience and understand that, you know, certain bands have their place, and craft, you know, is more important than your own personal preference.
And that's what we like with our show, because we tend not to listen to the prescribed playlist. We tend to play our own eclectic stuff. Yeah, we try to
Good.
do
I mean, do that while you can. If you make a life out of that, then, you know, you're in a very, very hot spot.
Our show's kind of like your old mixtape, because we played music from the 60s through to now, and just like different genres and shuffle it around.
Oh, that was so much fun. We used to do those, and for a while we just felt like we were getting away with murder, and then we realised we were getting away with murder, and we started to feel guilty because, you know, there's 2 hours of that Thursday or 90 minutes where you felt like, Christ, look at all these bands we could be playing. And, you know, we're playing the Clash and the Pistols and everything else, and that's great, and it was great fun.
Yeah, definitely.
But it actually reignited our passion for that Thursday slot being just a straight new music slot. And when you realise actually the records that we get away with playing that would have maybe been forsaken in any other situation, you know, you realise that it's better where we're at now.
I guess BBC Six Music cover a lot of that kind of mixtape.
Yeah, this is the great thing about BBC is that, you know, there is an outlet for everyone and everything, and ultimately we try and cover the good stuff as much as possible, but what you miss. It's not like when you're working, I was working at XFM at the time, and I used to feel like, Christ, if I don't play that, maybe someone else won't play it, and maybe I'm missing, the band's missing out. Now you sort of feel like, okay, if I don't have time for that, I know for a fact that Colin might, or Mac might, or someone on Six Music might, or, you know what I mean?
They'll get the record,
it will get
out there.
the recognition, so you don't sort of feel like it's all resting on your shoulders as much.
Yeah, that's one of the questions we're not going to ask you about whether XFM, like, you had to compromise your taste or anything. So it's good that you mentioned that, Phil.
It was different, you know, X was different. It was a different station. It had far more of a direct music policy, which was more of an alternative rock kind of station at the time. And when I got to Radio 1, you know, and I had met my team for the first time, we talked about what we wanted the show to become. And they said, you know, we're going to play drum and bass and dance and everything else. And I was a bit like, there's elements of that which I love, but I'm not up to play on because I've been in XFM for 3-4 years playing with Biscuit, you know. So from my point of view, it was a little bit sort of, like, you know, it was good for its time. But, you know, it was a bit unnerving at times. But now I actually think that it's probably the single most important thing about the show, beyond me or anything, is the diversity. It's the fact that we can flip between the earlies to Pendulum to, you know, Mastodon to
they're very cool.
Kano, you know what I mean? Yeah, do you know what I mean? We can play anything and everything, and if we can make it sound right, then it's great.
It fits together as well quite nicely.
Well, that's a compliment, thanks.
Fiona? Go on. Okay, well, I'll ask.
Go, Alex, go.
Yeah. Right. Who are the bands that you've championed that you were sure would hit the big time, but never did?
That's a really good question. That's a tough one, really, because you live in hope that they will, so you don't want to kind of write them off by saying they never made it, it never happened. You know, we've had bands that we've put in live sessions that didn't really happen, bands like Chikinky and, you know. See, I would have said Cooper Temple Claw 6 months ago, but they got a new record coming out, which sounds great. So, I mean, you know, there's definitely bands that you feel should have been bigger. Rival Schools is one that springs to mind for me.
I love Rival Schools.
Because they're broken up, so it's easier for me to mention them because there is no chance of them really hitting a big time, you know. Test Icicles, you know, we worked very hard on them, and again, they separated.
Short-lived,
that was really...
But then, of course, you know, from them comes the Klaxons, so effectively, you know, a flower grows in Brooklyn, you know, that's what I'm saying. So, you know, it was, I mean, sometimes you win some, you know, sometimes you lose some, but you never feel bad. I never feel like, you know, we missed the boat or we didn't back a winner. It's just that there's a lot of variables between making a record and it becoming successful and in the eyes of the industry or the media. You know, it's not an easy thing, and some of my favourite records are the most underplayed or underrated. Quicksand, for fuck's sake.